Guenther Family History, 7th Grade, The Altar Boy, by Donald Guenther. 7th grade proved to be a difficult year for me. Sister Francilla, a tough, holy-name nun, took it upon herself to straighten out the problem boys in her class. Gary Winger and I were her prime targets. She held high standards for behavior and school. Gary and I didn't measure up. Once, when one of the boys slipped and let out some foul words, she knew just what to do. She washed his mouth out with soap and water. She also kept Gary, our star athlete, out of sports until his grades improved. Gary later dropped out of Coos Catholic after that year, and Dad's sports teams dropped out too, into last place. When we couldn't get all of our homework done, she kept us in from recess. She knew how to handle every problem. Gary and I had language skill problems to go along with our behavioral flaws. Neither of us could learn the Latin prayers required to become altar boys. Sister Francilla had schooled the other boys, and all had passed the Latin test and served as altar boys. Brother Ronnie returned from Europe and announced his engagement to the beautiful Mary Ann. Stress came into my life as I learned that Brother Johnny and I would be the altar boys for their wedding. Johnny, a year older than myself, had passed the Latin exam and had been serving as an altar boy for some time. His behavior, exemplary, and language skills put me to shame. The wedding date was set, and I had to work hard at learning Latin. Not one to get ahead of my problems, I procrastinated to the last. My first Mass to serve as an altar boy would be Ronnie and Mary Ann's wedding. My Latin test took place right before the wedding. I didn't do well at all. I mumbled through the Confiteor, a rather lengthy prayer that did me in. Sister Francilla felt pressured. How could she fail me with a wedding coming up involving such important church families? Sister Francilla caved and noted that I could serve as an altar boy but would need more Latin instruction in the future. That was her way of telling me I didn't pass, but was allowed to serve as an altar boy because of my prestigious family. The wedding day came, and there were so many issues in play, no one noticed that one altar boy, serving his first Mass, got sick and had to leave the Mass for a while. The Mass must have been one of those high Masses. When I held the Bible for the reading by the priest, I almost collapsed. I went into the back of the church and put my head down between my legs to try and restore my stability and health. I remember Ronnie misplacing his wedding ring. He could only manage difficult, complex thoughts and left the rest of everyday thinking to others. I wondered if his marriage would be successful. Mary Ann had champagne served at the reception, and Fiddy had a little too much. The wedding, a big success, owing to Uncle Cliff letting Ronnie use his ring for the ceremony. Ronnie later found the ring in his shoe. Our world-renowned scientist's thinking had been that he would find the ring on the wedding day when he put on his shoes, the problem being that he rented different shoes. Brother and Ronnie and I always served as altar boys together for years so our family could attend a single Mass. Johnny carried the Latin altar boys' responses while I mumbled. My 7th grade in Latin never improved. I can still mumble the Latin prayers. Sister Francilla failed to straighten me out, and fortunately for me, the Mass changed into English. My friend Gary never passed his Latin test and served as an altar boy. Poor Gary. He didn't have a prestigious family.